Na to je reagirao Boban, isto tako grubo u smislu.
1990.
Kaleye vurdu ve gol! Atıyor Arışı.
Hi, I'm Victor. The moment you give up the fight, you lose. I have been betrayed many times. Many times my victory has been overshadowed. I've been wronged many times. I was on the verge of suicide. A rope around my neck. There was a chair under my feet.
As the legendary coach Arrigo Sacchi said, football, the most necessary of unnecessary things. In this episode, we'll talk about interesting and perhaps future essential stories. What do you think is the strangest match in the history of soccer? I'm sure soccer fans have thought of different matches. But I'm going to tell you about this match, with its unprecedented unconventionality. What happened in this match may be beyond your imagination. We're talking about the match between Barbaros and Granada on January 27th, 1994 in the preliminary round of the Caribbean Cup. Let's start from the beginning. Ahead of the tournament, the organizers made radical changes to the rules. If any match in the group ended in a draw, extra time would be played. Surprisingly, the golden goal scored in extra time would count as 2 goals, not 1. Puerto Rico in Group A of the preliminary round of the 5th edition of the Caribbean Cup, the teams of Granada and Barbaros took part. In the group's first match on January 23rd, Barbaros lost to Puerto Rico by a score of 0. 2 days later, the Granada national team defeated Puerto Rico with a golden goal in extra time. According to the regulations, the score was recorded as 2-0. After these matches, the Grenada squad took the lead with 3 points and plus 2 balls. In this situation, Barbaros needed to beat Grenada by at least 2 goals to advance to the next round. And now we come to the Barbaros-Grenada match in question. At the start of the match, played at the Saint Michel National Stadium, the hosts scored the 2 necessary goals. But in the 83rd minute, the Grenadians reduced the deficit. This goal changed the situation. Therefore, the players from Barbarossa needed to score 1 more goal to advance to the final stage of the Caribbean Cup. Unless the score was at least 3-1, the Grenada national team would advance to the next stage. Increasing the pressure on the opponent's goal, the hosts attacked for a few minutes, but to no avail. That's when they remembered the unusual rules of the tournament. A drawn match goes into extra time. In extra time, it is possible for both teams to take advantage with a single goal. 87th minute, Barbaros gives up the attack. The team's striker Terry Seeley and goalkeeper Horace Stout start passing the ball. Eventually, Seeley deliberately scores an own goal. The score was 2-2 and there were 3 minutes left in the match. The visitors had already understood the Barbadians' tactics. To break the deadlock, it was necessary to score in any goal on the field. The result was an anomalous scene in the square. Grenada tried to score both goals, while the Barbadian team tried to defend both goals. The hosts managed to overcome this unusual task and keep both gates intact for the rest of the time. Thus, the match ended with a 2-2 score. Trevor Thorne scored the golden goal in extra time, and the Barbados national team won the match by 4-2 to qualify for the final stage of the tournament. James Clarkson, the head coach of the Grenada team, said in an interview after the match that he felt cheated and that the person who made these rules should be sent to a madhouse. That you can't play a match with confused players on the pitch. Our players didn't even know which way to attack. Our goal or their goal. I have never seen such a thing. In soccer, you don't go for your own goal to win. You have to score in the opponent's goal. The last round of the Caribbean Cup was not a success for Barbados. The Barbadians had to settle for a draw with Dominica and Guadeloupe, lost to hosts and future champions Trinidad and Tobago, and failed to qualify for the group stage. Match between Dinamo Zagreb and Crvena Zvezda of Belgrade in the Yugoslav League. Although many consider it the game that started the war, it was an important event on the road to the breakup of Yugoslavia and the independence of Croatia. Set in the Maksimir Stadium in Zagreb, it was, according to many, the bloodiest war in Europe since the Second World War. 140,000 people died in this war. More than 2 million people were expelled from their lands. No one thought that Zvonimir Boba kicking a policeman to protect a fan would be the beginning of such events. This match took place on May 13th, 1999, proved once again that soccer is more than just a game. Many soccer stadiums around the world have a statue in front of them. Usually most of these statues is about the people associated with that club. Players, coaches, etc. However, in front of the Maksimir Stadium there are 3 statues of soldiers. Under the statue are the following words. To the fans who started the war with Serbia in this stadium on May 13, 1999. This is the statement. It's dedicated to an incident in a match where the match was in the background and Boba dominated the field with the kick that started the war. First of all, let's talk about the background. Let's take a look at Boba's match between Dinamo and Crvena Zvezda, which is not remembered fondly even today. Yugoslavia was already in its last 5 years before its dissolution. Croatia held elections a month before this match, and the pro-independence Franjo Tudman won. Tudman and his entourage made a big mistake by ignoring the reaction of Serbs living in other big Croatian cities like Zagreb. At the heart of the matter was media propaganda, claiming that he was supporting Belgrade financially, and that Serbs in Croatia were under threat of genocide. This provocation escalated already heated events. Many Serbs in Croatia claimed that Tudman did not regret what had been done and that Croatian nationalism was now increasingly turning into fascism. After Tudman's success, most Croats were looking for a new era for their state. Croatian nationalism emerged. Shavnic was added to club logos. Flags were hung on buildings. The state language was changed from Serbian to Croatian, and many Serbs were fired. Tudman's support for independence and nationalism, Croatia, is in the clutches of Serbia and Slobodan Milosevic, leader of the Serbian Communist Party. Milosevic, he believed that a Yugoslavia ruled by Serbs would survive. He regained influence over the formerly autonomous Kosovo and Vojvoda. But Croatia, Slovenia and Boston, which wanted more freedom, were not expected to yield easily. In the end, during the year 1990, tensions reached Doru and war seemed inevitable. This political tension did not prevent the continuation of the football championship involving all the republics of Yugoslavia. Thus, May 13, 1999, Crvena Zvezda arrived in Zagreb to face Dinamo in Maksimir. There were violent clashes between the fans of both teams, Crvena Zvezda's hooligans, headed by Zlesko Rastanovic, who did not have a good record. The band in question was Delije. The most violent fan group in Zagreb was the Bad Blue Boys. Riots were common between both sets of fans, but this time it was different than usual. It was as if someone was deliberately taking an interest. The rioting started off the pitch and spread to the streets of Zagreb. To the madman, before ripping out the seats and throwing them at the Croats, they unfurled a banner saying Zagreb is Serbia. Croats. They started tearing Crvena Zvezda flags, and a fight broke out between the two groups of fans, which extended to the pitch. Meanwhile, the police, who are supposed to protect security, did not intervene. Crvena Zvezda players leaving the field, many Dynamo players stayed on the pitch. Boban, who was 21 at the time, was a midfielder and captain of the team. He saw a Dinamo fan being attacked by the police and helped the fan escape by jumping and kicking the police. Boban was caught on camera and Boban soon became a national hero in Croatia. He became a symbol of the Croatian freedom struggle. Boban was suspended for 9 matches by the Football Federation of Yugoslavia and did not participate in the World Cup in 1999-190. He was soon subjected to pressure from many parts of Yugoslavia, and a year later he was transferred to Milan. He then built a very successful career. The interesting thing is, despite many successes, he made the most successful shot of his career, hitting a policeman instead of a soccer ball. What I learned from these two stories, that a single accurate shot is enough to succeed. The important thing is to make the right decision in the right place.